Alright guys, we're back in guess what? Right, this is supposed to be the Stormzy one. You know that there's a rapper in the UK, I think it does UK Garage. I don't know if it not is anything to do with Wiley and all them kind of things. But yeah, one second, I'm just sorting out what I'm gonna watch on YouTube. My eyesight isn't what it used to be. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Won't be a second, guys, so my apologies. Oh, yeah. Key. Right, I'll do. You know, I on YouTube adverts and adverts and adverts. They're all showing you cheap, nasty crap. Hey? That one I need. Right, let's do this.
The reason for this unawareness, the threatening danger to our country and to the entire free world, is simple. The masterminds behind this great conspiracy have absolute control of all our mass communications media.
There you go, Stormzy.
The radio, press,
Fall on my enemies. Right, okay.
we all know that our state
Right, let's do Stormzy one then. Should we take a taxi? We shall take a taxi.
Auto drive now enabled.
This is a scary future if we and it's heading this way. You know what we're seeing now with automated cars and everything's drones. This is what we're going to see. This is our life. We don't do anything about it, guys. They're already planning it.
Auto drive now disabled.
This may only be a game, but this could happen in the future.
Turn over everything here until you find them.
Found me an autonomous vehicle.
It sounds so innocent and so humanitarian that they true person all of themselves or is described as a myth. It's not the truth being raised. None of that. This satanic plot was launched back in the 1760s. The first major forces under the name of the Illuminati. This Illuminati was organized by one Adam Weishaupt, born a Jew, was converted to Catholicism, and became a Catholic priest, and then, at the behest of the then newly organized House of Rothschild, effected and organized the Illuminati. Naturally, the Rothschilds financed that operation. And every war since then, beginning with the French Revolution, has been promoted by the Illuminati, operating under various names and guises. I say under various names and guises.
This is a bigger.
Immediately after World War I, they set up what they call the Council on Foreign Relations, commonly referred to as the CFR. And this CFR is actually the Illuminati in the United States, and its hierarchy. The masterminds in control of the CFR, to a very great extent, are the descendants of the original Illuminati conspiracy. But to conceal that fact, most of them changed their original family names to American-sounding names. For example, the true name of the Dillon, Clarence Douglas Dillon, once Secretary of the U.S. Treasury Department, is Lapowski. I've come back to all this later. There is a similar establishment of the Illuminati in England, operating under the name of the British Institute of International Affairs. There are similar secret
Stormzy's accessing the server. What kind of show can he put on while he's hidden away?
Check one, check two. Yo, what's going on, people? It's Stormzy, it's The Problem, it's Big Mike, and we've got Dead Set running interference. Yo, Dead Set, yo, Planet Earth, I want everybody watching this to spread the word. Sirs is here, and they're trying to shut us down. Everywhere you look, there's some jacked up guards locking us up, murdering us, and if they can't do that, then they just take what they want from us. They make us poor, and then they beat us down to nothing so that we can't resist. And you know what? None of this is new. The powers that be, they've always been trying to keep us down. Same shit, different day. But me, I'm the one thing they fear most. I'm a black man with money. I got shit to say, I got the P to back it up, I got tech, I got fame, I got fans, and I got Ross Clark Dead Set ready to fight with me. No matter how hard they hit us, and I mean all of us, we've got to let our minds speak. And if anyone wants to stop us, if anyone tries to bring us to our knees, then all I can say is, let the rain fall on our enemies.
Both are published by Kcin Education. Both published books, 4605, Hollywood Translation. I can get them for 50 cents a copy by writing to that address. Those news bulletins reveal the names of the original founders of the Illuminati and the Americanized names of their descendants. Present CFR. Now I go back to the activities of the original Illuminati conspiracy. As revealed in News Bulletin number 122, one branch of the Rothschild family had financed Napoleon. Another branch of the Rothschilds, both branches the real masterminds of the Illuminati, financed Britain, Germany, and the other nations in the Napoleonic War. Immediately after the Napoleonic Wars, the Illuminati assumed that all the nations were so desperate and so weary of war that they'd be glad for any solution. So the Rothschild Studios set up what they call the Founders in Vienna, and at that meeting they tried to create the first League of Nations.
Obviously I've missed something. Whoops.
On the field are all the crowned heads of European governments. So deeply in debt that they, willingly or unwillingly, serve as their students. But the Tsar of Russia fought the spending and were quickly torpedoed. The enraged Nathan Rothschild, then the head of that dynasty, vowed that someday he or his descendants destroyed the Sovereign's entire battle, and his descendants did accomplish that very threat in 1970. At this point, bear in mind that the Illuminati was not set up to operate on a short-range basis. Normally, if a spirit of any type enters into the conspiracy, it would be expected to be achieving his objective during his own lifetime. But that was not the case with the Illuminati. True, they hoped to accomplish their objective during their lifetime. But, paraphrasing, the show must go on. The Illuminati operates on a very long range. Whether it takes scores of years or even centuries, they have dedicated their descendants to keep the plot going until they hope the conspiracy is achieved. Now let's go back to the birth of the Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt was a heavily trained professor of canon law, teaching at Ingolstadt University when he defected from Christianity to embrace the Luciferian conspiracy. It was in 1770 that the professional money lender, who then recently organized the House of Rothschild, retained him to revise and modernize the age-old protocol of Zionism, which from the outset was designed to give the Synagogue of Satan, so named by Jesus Christ, ultimate world domination, so they could oppose the Luciferian ideology around what would remain of the human race after the...
I've acquired a brand new drone for you. You can take it for a test drive, but don't scratch the paint.
Oh, we've got a new drone. We've got an upgrade. Whoa!
Oh, we've set them off now. Don't let anything or anyone stop the broadcast from going out.
Drones are on their way to the suspect.
Shyster. It's quite hard actually. Wow, this is hard. Fire machine gun, equipped missiles. Oh, I like. That's better. Yeah.
cut the feed and let's get the fuck out of it.
You seriously? Has he just crashed out on me? Oh, you pieces! Oh no, no. I actually thought it crashed out.
Upload complete. Now scarper or they'll kill you for sure.
Dead sick. You will not believe what this looks like from the ground. The city is fucking popping tonight.
Control, I've lost the target.
Any sign of the target? Anyone?
They're not very good, these.
We are in pursuit, I say again, in pursuit.
I had them. Where did they go? Search has yielded no results. Report back to HQ.
Alright, dead set, what are we saying, bro? The track is trending global. Certain thought they could shut us down. Aye, but you lot weren't having it though. Aye, you lot smashed it, man. I'm still gassed from that show. I can't believe we did it. Flipping it, dead set. We make a hell of a team.
One of the most notable scholars we have in Alpha, Senator William J. Ford.
Stormzy Fall of his enemies. We kicked their asses, didn't we? Why is he not moving? Why is he not? Oh yes, he is.
Auto drive now enabled.
No. Can't mirror signal, it can't maneuver, can it? A known paedophile.
Auto drive now enabled.
Sir, do you know how many such men operate in our government at this very time? Trust, not America.
Right, carry on. I've got a blister on my leg, which isn't good.
Now do you know who owns and controls our mass communications media? I said, by the layman, Logan Company, Goldman Sachs, and other internationalist bankers. All the national radio and TV channels in the nation are owned and controlled by those same international bankers. The same is true of every chain of metropolitan newspapers and magazines, also of the press wire services, such as Associated Press, United Press International, etc. Supposed heads of all those media are merely the fronts of the internationalist bankers, who in turn compose the hierarchy of the CFR, today's Illuminati in America. Now can you understand why the Pentagon's press agent Sylvester so gracefully proclaimed that the government has the right to lie to the people? What he really meant was that our CFR controlled government had the power to lie to them, and he believed the lie to brainwash the American people. And let's again go back to the first days of the Illuminati. Because Britain and France were the two greatest world powers in the late years of the 18th century, Weishaupt ordered the Illuminati to prove the colonial war, including our Revolutionary War, to weaken the British Empire and organize the French Revolution to destroy the French Empire. He scheduled the French Revolution to start in 1789. However, in 1784, a true act of God placed the Bavarian government in possession of evidence which proved the existence of the Illuminati. And that evidence could have saved France if they, the French government, hadn't refused to believe it. Here is how that happened. It was in 1874 that Weishaupt issued the orders for the French Revolution. A German writer named Schwack put it into book form. It contained the entire Illuminati story and Weishaupt's plan. A copy of this book was sent to the Illuminists in France, headed by Robespierre, who Weishaupt had delegated to foment the French Revolution. The courier was struck and killed by lightning as he rode through Raleston on his way from Frankfurt to Paris. The police found the subversive documents on his body and turned them over to the proper authorities. After careful study of the plot, the Bavarian government ordered the police to raid Weishaupt's fully organized lodges of the Grand Orient and the home of his most influential associates. All of the additional evidence thus discovered convinced the authorities that documents genuine copies of the conspiracy by which the Illuminati planned to use wars and revolutions to bring about the establishment of a one-world government. The powers of which they, headed by the Rothschilds, intended to use as soon as it was established. Exactly in line with the United Nations plot of today. In 1785, the Bavarian government outlawed the Illuminati and closed the lodges of the Grand Orient. In 1786, they published all the details of the conspiracy. The English title of that publication is The Original Writings of the Order and Sect of the Illuminati. Copies of the entire conspiracy were sent to all the heads of church and state in Europe. But the power of the Illuminati, which was actually the power of the Rothschilds, was so great that this warning was ignored. Nevertheless, Illuminati became a dirty word, and it went underfoot. At the same time, Weishaupt ordered the Illuminists to infiltrate the lodges of Freemasonry and form their own secret society within all secret societies. Only Masons who proved themselves internationalists, and those whose conduct proved they had defected from God, were initiated into the Illuminati. Thenceforth, the conspirators donned the cloak of philanthropy and humanitarianism to conceal their revolutionary and subversive activities. In order to infiltrate into Masonic lodges in Britain, Weishaupt invited John Rose over to Europe. Robeson was a high-degree Mason in the Scottish Rite. He was a professor of natural philosophy at Edinburgh University and secretary of the Royal Society of Education. Robeson did not fall with the objective of creating a benevolent dictatorship, but he kept his reactions to himself so well that he was entrusted with a copy of Weishaupt's revised conspiracy for study and safe keeping. Anyway, because the heads of state and church in France were deluded into ignoring the warnings given them, the revolution broke out in 1789 as scheduled by Weishaupt.
Just that easy?
In order to alert other governments to their danger, in 1798 Robeson published a book entitled Proof of a Conspiracy to Destroy All Governments and Religions. But his warnings were ignored, exactly as our American people have been ignoring all warnings about the United Nations and the Council on Foreign Relations, CFO. Now here is something that will stop, very likely, outrage many who hear this, but there is documentary proof that our own Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton became students of Weishaupt. Jefferson was one of Weishaupt's strongest defenders when he was outlawed.
I didn't even know that.
And it was Jefferson who infiltrated the Illuminati into the very newly organized classes of the Scottish Church in England. This is the proof. In 1789, John Robeson formed offices in America with the Illuminati had infiltrated into their bodies. On July 19, 1789, David Campbell, president of Harvard University, issued the same warning to graduating class lecturers that the influence of humanism was acquired in American politics and religion. And to top it off, John Quincy Adams had organized the between the Masonic lodges, issued his warning. He wrote 3 letters to Colonel William L. Storm, in which he exposed how Jefferson was using Masonic lodges as the first
I thought I could have got away with that.
Find the little shit who thinks they can hack our vehicles.
Somebody's messing with me.
Unable to locate suspect. Continue searching.
Got a vehicle behaving around.
They're gone. Let's head back and regroup.
Oh, fuck.
Earlier, by a route, the outcome of the battle had been forced. Rothschild had spread his storm, and Napoleon had won that battle. That had precipitated a terrific transit on the stock market in England. All stocks had plummeted down to practically zero. And Nathan Rothschild bought all the stocks for virtually a $1 million value. That gave him complete control of the economy of Britain.
Someone's hacked this thing. Find them. Search.
Forced Britain to set up a new Bank of England, which he absolutely controlled. Exactly as later, through Jacob Ship, he engineered our own Federal Reserve Bank, which gave the House of Rothschild a secret control.
I want that hacker found. You hear me?
United States. But now for a moment, let's dwell on the activities of the Illuminati in the United States. In 1826, one Captain William Morgan decided it was his duty to inform all Masons and the general public what the full truth was regarding the Illuminati, their secret plans and intended objectives. also reveal the identity of the masterminds of the conspiracy. The Illuminati promptly tried more
It's not very good. You got to get a timing right to get. What a little
They
bugger.
ordered one Richard Howard, an English to carry out their sentence of execution. Morgan was warned and he tried to escape the Canada. Howard caught up with him near the border, near the Niagara border, to be exact, where he murdered him. This was verified in the sworn statement made in New York by one Avery Allen, the effect that he heard Howard Richard in support of the execution releasing the Ninth Temple St. John Hall, New York. He also told how arrangements had been made to ship Howard back to England. That Allen affidavit is the record of the very few Masons and very few of the general public know that the general disapproval over that incident occurred for the profit on behalf of all the Masons in the northern jurisdiction of the United States to secede. Copies of the minutes able to discuss that matter are still in existence in St. Louis, and that all that secrecy emphasizes the power of the masterminds of the Illuminati to prevent such terrible events of history from being taught in our schools. In the early 1850s, the Illuminati
They're gone! Cancel the search!
which was addressed by a British illuminist named Bright. Those in attendance were told that the Illuminati was organized to unite the nihilist and atheist groups with all other subversive groups with internationally to be known as communists. That was when the word communist first came into being, and it was intended to be the supreme weapon against terrorists, to terrify the whole world and drive the terrorized peoples into the Illuminati one world scheme. This scheme, communism, was to be used to enable the Illuminati to rule the future war and revolution. Clinton wrote,
Standard quadrant search.
direct
Go.
ancestor of Franklin
Drone, begin searching sequence.
Charles Davis, foremost newspaper publishers of that time, were appointed to head a committee to raise funds for the new venture. Of course, most of the funds were provided by the Rothschilds. And this fund was used to finance Karl Marx and Engels, and their both about capital, and the Communist Manifesto for all people. This clearly reveals that communism is not a so-called ideology, but a secret weapon,
They've escaped. We need to
a
regroup.
human word to serve the purpose of the Weishaupt died in 1830, but prior to his death he prepared a revised version of the age-old conspiracy, the Illuminati, which, under various aliases, was to organize, finance, direct, and control all international organizations and groups by working their agents into executive positions at the top. In the United States, we have Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Roosevelt, Jack Kennedy, Johnson, Rusk, McNamara, Fulbright, etc. as prime examples. In
Spread
addition,
out. We need to find them. Drone, engage search and alert protocol.
Professor Carl Ritter of Franklin University was writing the antithesis under direction of another group. The idea was that those who direct the overall conspiracy would use the differences in those two so-called ideologies to enable them to divide larger and larger members of the human race into opposing camps, so that they could be armed and brainwashed into fighting and destroying each other, and particularly to destroy all political and religious institutions. The work Ritter started was continued after his death and completed by the German so-called philosopher Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche.
Find out who's controlling that.
This Nietzsche
Drone, search
later
protocol.
developed into fascism and then into Nazism and was used to foment World Wars I and II. In 1834, the Italian revolutionary leader, Giuseppe Mazzini, was selected by the Illuminati to direct their revolutionary program throughout the world. He served in that capacity until he died in 1872. But some years before he died, Mazzini had enticed an American general named Albert Pike into the Illuminati. Pike was fascinated by the idea of a one-world government, and ultimately he became the head of this Luciferian conspiracy. Between 1859 and 1871, he, Pike, worked out a military blueprint for 3 world wars and various revolutions throughout the world, which he considered would forward the conspiracy to its final stage in the 20th century. Again, I remind that these conspiracies were never concerned with immediate success. They always operated on a long-range view. Pike did most of his work in his home in Little Rock, Arkansas. But a few years later, when the Illuminati's lodges of the Grand Orient became suspect and repudiated because of Mazzini's revolutionary activities in Europe, Pike organized what he called the New and Reformed Palladian Right. He set up 3 supreme councils, one in Charleston, South Carolina, one in Rome, Italy, and the 3rd in Berlin, Germany. He had Mazzini establish 23 subordinate councils in strategic locations throughout the world. These have been the secret headquarters of the world revolutionary movement ever since. Long before Marconi invented radio, the scientists in the Illuminati had found the means for Pike and the heads of his councils to communicate secretly. It was the discovery of that secret that enabled intelligence officers to understand how apparently unrelated incidents, one such as the assassination of an Austrian prince in Sarajevo, took place simultaneously throughout the world, which developed into a war-going revolution. Pike's plan was as simple as it is proven.
Looks dangerous.
It called for
I'm not
confidence, political scientists, and other international movements to organize and use the forces, 3 global world wars, and at least 2 major revolutions. The First World War was to be fought so as to enable the Illuminati to destroy Tsarism in Russia, as vowed by Rothschild after the Tsar had torpedoed his scheme at the Congress in Vienna, and to transform Russia into a stronghold of atheistic communism. The differences stirred up by agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires were to be used to foment this war. After the war would be ended, communism was to be built up and used to destroy other governments and weaken religion. World War II, when and if necessary, was to be fomented by...
Have you looked at the Themis brief, ma'am?
Yes, I looked at it before I assigned you to the project. I am quite familiar with what it entails.
You must see the ethical implications of this. Themis violates half a dozen laws at least.
Those laws don't apply anymore. Or haven't you been paying attention? We're functioning under martial law here.
No. Themis is more than just martial law. It's a guillotine waiting to come down on everyone.
Look, you have 2 options. You can do your job, or you can lose your job. Pick one.
And thus bring about the war against them. In short, this Second World War was to be fought to destroy Nazism and to increase the power of political Zionism so that the State of Israel could be established in Palestine. During this World War II, international communism was to be built up until it equaled in strength that of United Christendom. When it reached that point, it was to be contained and kept in check until required for the final social cataclysm. As we know now, Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin put that exact policy into effect, and Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, and Johnson continued that same exact policy. World War III is to be fomented by using the so-called controversy, the agents of the Illuminati, operating under whatever new name, are now stirring up between the political scientists and the leaders of the Muslim world. That war is to be directed in such a manner that all of Islam and political science, Israel, will destroy each other, while at the same time, the remaining nations, once more divided on this issue, will be forced to fight themselves into a state of complete exhaustion, physically, mentally, spiritually, and economically. How can any thinking person doubt that the intrigue now going on in the near, middle, and far east is designed to accomplish that satanic objective? Reich himself foretold all this in a statement he made to the Senate on August 15, 1871. Reich stated that after World War III is ended, those who will inspire undisputed world domination will provoke the greatest social cataclysm the world has ever known. Quoting his own words, taken from the letter he wrote to Mazzini, and which letter is now catalogued in the British Museum in London, England, he said, "We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a great social cataclysm which in all its horror will show clearly to all nations the effect of absolute atheism, the origin of savagery, and of most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere, the people forced to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose theistic spirits would be from that moment on without direction and leadership, and anxious for an ideal but without knowledge where to send its adoration, will receive the true light, the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out into public view, a manifestation which will result from a general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time." When Mazzini died in 1874, Reich made another Italian revolutionary leader named Adrian Levy his successor. Levy, in turn, was succeeded by Lenin and Trotsky, then by Stalin. The revolutionary activities of all those men were financed by British, French, German, and American international bankers, all of them dominated by the House of Rothschild. We are supposed to believe that the international bankers of today are only the tools or agents of the great conspiracy, but actually they are the masterminds behind all of it, while the general public has been brainwashed by all the mass communications media into believing that communism is a movement of the so-called woke. The actual fact is that both British and American intelligence officers have authentic documentary evidence that international liberals operating through their international banking houses, particularly the House of Rothschild, have financed both sides in every war and revolution since 1776. Those who today comprise the conspiracy, the CFR in the United States, direct our governments, whom they hold in usury through such methods as the Federal Reserve System in America, to fight wars such as Vietnam, created by the United Nations, so as to further Reich's Illuminati plans to bring the world to that stage of the conspiracy of atheistic communism, and the whole of Christianity can be forced into an all-out Third World War within each remaining nation, as well as on an international scale. The headquarters of the great conspiracy in the late 1700s was in Frankfurt, Germany, where the House of Rothschild had been established by Mayor Anschel, who adopted the Rothschild name and linked together other international business who had literally sold their souls to the devil. After the Bavarian government's exposure in 1786, the conspirators moved their headquarters to Switzerland, then to London. Since World War II, after Jacob Schiff, the Rothschild boy in America, died, the headquarters of the American branch has been in the Harold Pratt Building, New York, and the Rockefellers, originally proteges of Schiff, have taken over the manipulation of finance in America going forward. In the final phases of the conspiracy, the one-world government will consist of the king dictator, head of the United Nations, the CFR, and a few billionaires, economists, and scientists who have proved their devotion to the great conspiracy. All others are to be integrated into a vast conglomeration of mongrelized humanity, actual slaves. Now let me show you how our federal government and the American people have been sucked into the one-world takeover plot of the Illuminati Great Conspiracy. And always bear in mind that the United Nations was created to become the housing for that one-world
this is a good spot.
liberal conspiracy. The real foundations of the plot for the takeover of the United States were laid during the period of our Civil War. Not that Weishaupt and the earlier masterminds had ever overlooked the new world. As I have previously indicated, Weishaupt had his agents
I think I'll be going to bed soon, guys. When this double
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Oh, I need to go pee wee, you know. Let's go pee pee.
We also know that there were Rothschild agents planted in Abraham Lincoln's cabinet, tried to sell him into a financial deal with the House of Rothschild. But old age saw through the scheme and utterly rejected it, thereby encouraged the undying enmity of the Rothschilds, exactly as the Russian Tsar did when he torpedoed their first League of Nations at the Congress in Vienna. Investigation of the assassination of Lincoln revealed that the assassin, who was a member of a secret conspiratorial group. Because there were a number of highly important government officials involved, the name of the group was never revealed and became a mystery, exactly as the assassination of Jack Kennedy still is a mystery. But I am sure it will not for long. Anyway, the ending of the Civil War destroyed, temporarily, all chances of the House of Rothschild to get a clutch on their money system, so that they have acquired Britain and other nations again. I say temporarily because the Rothschilds and the masterminds of the conspiracy never quit. So they have to start from scratch.
Check the surroundings.
Shortly after
Initiate. Getting close.
a young immigrant called himself Jacob Kcin arrived in New York. Jacob was a young man with a vision for the House of Rothschild. Jacob was the son of a rabbi, born in one of Rothschild's houses in Frankfurt, Germany. I won't go deeply into his background. The important point is that
It's like hell broke through the pavement.
not only a potential money wizard, but more important, he also saw the latent Machiavellian qualities in Jacob that could, as it did, make him an invaluable functionary.
Auto drive now enabled.
Conspiracy.
Auto drive now disabled. Auto drive now enabled. Auto drive now enabled.
It doesn't see other cars, does it?
Auto drive now disabled. Auto drive now enabled.
Oh, it's good.
Auto drive now disabled.
Oh, here we go again. Can I get up there? Is it?
Time the ship arrived on the scene, fueled and loaded with a well-known private landing firm. And this is what Jacob both get. Shortly
Well, can't you get up there?
Ship married told the daughter to risk. Then he brought out Hugh's interests and moved the firm to New York. And Hugh and Lowe became Hugh and Lowe International Factory. The Jacob ship, agent of the Rothschild, ostensibly the sole owner. And throughout his career, this blend of Judas and Machiavelli, first hierarchy of the Illuminati, great conspiracy in America, holds that the general philanthropist and a man of great hope, the cover of policy set forth by the Illuminati. As I have stated, the first great step of the conspiracy was to be the entrapment of our money system. To achieve that objective, ship had to get full cooperation of the then big banker elements in America. That was easier said than done, even in those years, to the heart of the American money market, and J.P. Morgan was its dictator. Next in line were the Drexels and the Biddles in Philadelphia. All the other Biddles here, big and to the units of those three houses, but particularly the that of Morgan. All of those three were proud, haughty, arrogant potentates. For the first few years, they viewed the little bewhiskered man from the German ghetto but Jacob knew how to overcome it. He threw a few Rothschild bones to them. That bone being distributed in America as a diorama of European stock and foundation. Then he discovered he had a still more potent weapon in his hand in the following. It was in the decades following our Civil War that our industry began to burgeon. Our great railroads developed. The oil, mining, steel, textile industries were bursting out of their swamping coast. All that called for vast financing. Much of that financing had to come from abroad. That meant the House of Rothschild. And that was when Schiff came into his own. He played a very crafty game. He became the patron saint of John D. Rockefeller, Edward R. Harris, and Andrew Carnegie. He financed the Standard Oil Company, the railroad empire for Harris, and the steel empire for Carnegie. But instead of Hawks, all the other industries that he opened, he opened the doors of the House of Rothschild to Morgan, Italy,
Let's get out of sight of them.
I'm reloading! Headed by men chosen by the Rothschilds. In short, that meant control of the nation's money power. And he was then ready for a giant step on the track.
Going to check their last position.
That was the last place I saw them. All control. Our money vested solely in our country. Ship's next important step was use the country to bring that constitutional by surrendering back control to the hierarchy of the Illuminati's great conspiracy. In order to legalize that surrender and thus make the people powerless, it would be necessary to have Congress enact special legislation. To accomplish that, ship would have to infiltrate spaceships to force out the surface.
They got me pinned!
You're in trouble now. For passing such legislation. Equally, or even more important, he would have to plant a sloop just away from it. The president, without integrity and without law, would sign that legislation into law. To accomplish that, he had to get control of either the Republican or the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party was the more vocal. It was the hungrier of the two parties. The were clear. The Democrats had been unable to maintain their seat in the White House. Number two, there were considerably more Republican-minded voters than Democrats.
Empty!
The power commander was not a great problem, but the voter problem was a different story. As I previously said, they get rid of smart voters. Here is the atrocious and fraudulent method he employed. Its solution is very little. Jewish internationalist factors care about their racial justice. Suddenly, around 1890, there broke out a nationwide series of plots. Many thousands of innocent Jews, men, women, and children were slaughtered by the Cossacks and other peasants. Similar slaughters of innocent Jews broke out in Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria. All those pogroms were fomented by Rothschild agents. As a result, Jewish terrorist of all those nations swarmed into the United States. And that continued throughout the next 2 or 3 decades. Because the pogrom will continue through all those years. All those refugees were aided by self-styled humanitarian missions set up by Schiff, the Rothschilds, and all the Rothschild affiliates. In the main, the refugees streamed into New York. The Schiff Rothschild humanitarian committees found ways to shuffle many of them into rather large cities, such as Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Detroit, Los Angeles, etc. All of them were quickly transformed to naturalized citizens, educated to register as Democrats.
Where's my backup?
Thus, all of that so-called minority group became sound, democratic bourgeois in their community, all controlled and maneuvered by their so-called benefactors. Shortly after the turn of the century, they became vital factors in the political life of our nation. That was one of the methods Schiff employed, to plant men like Nelson Aldrich in our Senate and Woodrow Wilson in the White House. At this point, let me remind you of another of the important jobs that was assigned to Schiff when he was dispatched to America. I refer to the job of destroying the unity of the American people by creating minority group and racial strife. By the pogrom-driven Jewish refugees into America, Schiff was creating one ready-made minority group for that purpose. But the Jewish people as a whole, made fearful by the pogrom, could not be depended upon to create the violence necessary to destroy the unity of the American people. But right within America, there was an already made-to-order, although as yet a sleeping minority group, the Negroes. Could be sparked into so-called demonstrations, rioting, looting, murder, and every other type of lawlessness. All that was necessary was to incite and arouse them. Together, those two minority groups, properly maneuvered, could be used to create exactly the kind of strife in America the Illuminati would need.
That took some doing.
Thus, at the same time that Schiff and his co-conspirators were laying their plans for the entrapment of our money system, they were also perfecting plans to hit the unsuspecting American people with an explosive and terrifying racial upheaval that would tear the people into hate fractions and create chaos throughout the nation, especially on all college and university campuses. all protected by our warring decisions and our so-called leaders of Washington. Of course, perfecting those plans required time and infinitely patient organizing. Now, to remove all doubts, I'll take a few moments to give you documentary proof of this racial strife plot. First of all, they had to create leaderships and organizations to draw in billions of youths, both Jewish and Negro, who would do the demonstrating and commit the rioting, looting, and lawlessness. So in 1909, Schiff, the Layman, and other conspirators organized and set up the National Association for the Advancement of the Colored People, known as the NAACP. The president, directors, and legal counsel of the NAACP were always white men, Jews appointed by Schiff. And this is the case to this very day. Then, in 1913, the Schiff Group organized the Anti-Defamation League of the B'nai B'rith, commonly known as the ADL, to serve as the Gestapo and hatchetman outfit of the entire Great Conspiracy. Today, this sinister ADL maintains over 2,000 agencies in all parts of the country, and they advise and completely condemn every action of the NAACP, or the American League, of all the other so-called Negro civil rights organizations throughout the nation, including such leaders as Martin Lucifer King, Stokely Carmichael, Mayor Rustin, and others of that ilk. In addition, the ADL acquired absolute control of the advertising budgets of many department stores, hotel chains, TV and radio industrialist sponsors, also advertising agencies, and order to control practically all the mass communication media and force every loyal newspaper to slant and falsify the news, and to further incite and at the same time create sympathy for the lawlessness and violence of the Negro mob. Here is documentary proof beginning of their deliberate plot to foment the Negroes into all their lawlessness. Around 1910, one Israel Zangor wrote a play entitled The Melting Pot. It was sheer propaganda to incite the Negro because the play purportedly visualized how the American people were discriminated against and persecuted through the Negroes. At that time, nobody seemed to realize that it was a propaganda play. It was that cleverly written. The propaganda was well wrapped up. The truly
it's a mess around there, isn't it?
In the play, and it was a big Broadway hit. Now, in those years, the legendary diamond Jim Brady used to throw a banquet at the famous Monaco restaurant in New York. After the
like our old shopping precincts, courtesy of the virus.
We're being contacted by our potential recruit. Patching them through now.
I owe you guys big time.
Return the favour by joining us. Dead Set could use someone like you.
You kidding? Oh yeah.
Right, I think we call it a day, guys.
At that time, I was completely absorbed by my work as a playwright. And significant as that type was, its real objective never dawned on me, nor was I interested in reading the book. But it suddenly hit me with the force of a hydrogen bomb. When I received a newspaper clipping of an item published by the Washington
All right.
Evening
This is a
Star
bad one.
in May
Someone in 404 sent me a
1977.
text file. DedSec's international safe houses have been compromised. Does the name Heath Bolton mean anything to you?
No.
Didn't think so. Bolton was a small-time player with DedSec Houston until he ratted out the whole cell and fled the country. Now he's in London, and he's willing to sell all of DedSec's secrets to the highest bidder.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Being associated with DedSec's been good for my brand, and I don't want that getting fucked. I'll send you this text file. The rest is up to you.
Hey. This is started. Right, okay. Right, we're going to call it a day.
Yep.
The American State Department keeps tabs on all their citizens abroad. If you want to find Heath Bolton, hack the CTOS hub at the American Embassy, and I can use their records to track him down.
Right, thanks.
Right, guys, so obviously that's the next mission. Keith Bolton. So, this one was Stormzy, wherever that was. All I know is he's a rapper. I don't know. Anyway, night, guys, take care, see you soon.